Good morning, everyone. Welcome to this Friday edition, the last Friday before Christmas 2025. Tommy Krysan, Ronnie Rantz with you. TK over at a very busy Tremonti's Meat and Seafood as this weekend is going to be rocking and rolling. Yesterday felt like a Friday in Baton Rouge, Tommy. Traffic galore, traffic
Oh,
everywhere. Um, it's not as busy this morning because I think yesterday felt like it was like a Friday for a lot of people. I think a lot of people today took off or working half a day doing shopping, this, that, and the other. But yesterday was insane. Baton Rouge traffic's always bad, but it was crazy yesterday. All right, TK, a lot to get to. It's going to be a fun night tonight if you're a college football fan. As tonight, Oklahoma and Alabama will start off the college football playoffs. One game today, three games tomorrow. If you're a gambler of those college football playoff games, the one that I feel the most confident about, Tommy, I like Oregon to cover against James Madison, and I particularly like the first half. I think the first half line is like 11 by Oregon in the first half, and I can see them being up at least two touchdowns, at halftime. But you're telling me that the line has actually moved in slightly James Madison's way.
it went from 21 and a half to 20 and a half. I don't know that that's, breaking news, but it did move, whereas the other three playoff lines haven't moved since they opened yet. Now, you got a game tonight, three games tomorrow. Again, these are on campus games, and, all the talk about should Tulane and James Madison be in. And here's the thing that I heard Dan Patrick, I thought, put it well this morning. You can't criticize James Madison and Tulane. They are in because of the rules that the college playoff committee put in place. Now, if you don't like the rules, then change the rules going forward. Nick Saban came out and said group of five should have their own playoff, which you and I said a month ago. They should have a group of five playoff and the power four playoff. Why not? I mean, every other college sport's got divisions and this group and that group. High school's got 8 state champions in Louisiana. So anyway, so a lot of conversation about all of that. But like I said, you can't knock James Madison and Tulane, but they've earned it according to the rules that were put in place before anybody played a game in August. It was dictated that this is how you can get in. And so you got to get, don't knock them saying, oh, well, Notre Dame should be in. Well, they probably are better than James Madison and Tulane, but that according to the rules, they're not in.
Yeah, I mean Vanderbilt. There's a lot of schools that are better than Tulane and James Madison. It's just not part of the system. And the same, Tommy, as in the NCAA field of 64, which is really 68 or whatever, is what, for example, the winner of the SWAC conference, Southern, Grambling, Jackson State, whoever, there's probably the eighth best team in the SEC, right? Is better than the winner in the SWAC conference, but the eighth best team in the SEC most years is not getting in to the NCAA tournament, and that's just the way the system is. It's the way the structure is. The way they want the diversity. They want the representation of the different leagues and different levels. And
Well,
but anyway, that
let's
said, I don't see a scenario where James Madison travels across country to Oregon and puts up a fight where they can win this game. I mean, I would think Oregon's going to blow them out.
Well, here's another thing was I heard this morning. When you have March Madness, you always think, well, the 12-5 matchup, we know the history there. And y'all, even the 4-13 matchup, some people say, hey, 13's got a chance. Nobody thinks James Madison's got a chance to win the game. Might it be a pillow fight in the first quarter because it's a playoff game? But like you said, they're traveling clear across the country. I like your idea, the first half bet on Oregon because they want to start fast. All teams do, but I don't think anybody thinks that James Madison is going to beat Oregon, and I don't think anybody thinks Tulane's going to beat Ole Miss. Especially, Tulane and Ole Miss. Tulane got a coach who's going to leave for Florida. Ole Miss has got a coach who was just named 2 weeks ago. But that's college football as it exists in our world today.
But the big thing is that for Tulane, for Ole Miss, their coordinators are intact. Um, and the only thing that scares me about the Tulane Ole Miss game from a gambler standpoint is just the fact that they played already, right? And I don't know, that's gotta help it's got to help both teams. But in essence, for Tulane, they're not going to be
But
overwhelmed. They've been to that same team. They've been on the same road. I just, I feel like for Tulane, they gained some confidence by having played that team, same location just a few months ago, to where they're not going to be the heartbeat. Yeah, it's going to be beating fast, but they're not going to be not knowing what to expect.
Well, but the other thing on that, I mean, different quarterback for Ole Miss now. We know that story, okay? And that game was 3 months ago, basically. So, I mean, Tulane's a different team. Ole Miss is clearly a different team. Tulane knows Summerall's leaving, and Ole Miss has got Golden, but you said it. The offensive and defensive coordinators are intact. So, hey, I'm certainly going to watch it. And look, I wanted my comments earlier about Tulane. I mean, I got a lot of friends who went to Tulane. I'm happy for Tulane, okay? And I hope they show themselves well, or maybe they spring the upset. Who the heck knows? That's why you line up and play. But not many people think that Green Wave have a chance.
Yeah, I don't think they have a chance to win, but again, it's not about the money line. It's about that 17 and a half. But I just think out of the two games, if I were to pick a game that was going to be more of a blowout than the other, I would take Oregon over James Madison versus Tulane and Ole Miss. Um, Alabama and Oklahoma, I would have to. I mean, if I'm not going to bet it, Tommy. I'm just because I want to just be a fan. I don't, but I would take the under if I had to bet it. I would take the under. I don't know that one team is really over the other. I just think both teams have struggled mightily with their offenses at times, and both teams have good defenses. Oklahoma, particularly at home, with their defense is outstanding. So I like the under if you have to bet it.
And the over under is 41 and a half.
Yeah, it's a low number.
Okay, so 20 to 17, and you're under. Okay, I always
Right.
like to name a score, then you try to add it up. So I do agree with you on that. And Oklahoma's the point and a half favorite. The game's in Norman. Oklahoma beat them in Tuscaloosa, many weeks ago. But I'll be watching tonight, no doubt.
All right, TK. The other game of note: A&M in Miami. This is probably the game that, from a national perspective, is one of the more interesting ones, because not many people thought Miami was outside of Miami thought Miami was going to be in the college football playoff. Everybody pretty much had a foregone conclusion of Notre Dame being in, and instead it ended up being Miami leapfrogging Notre Dame. And so there's a little pressure for the voters. They want Miami to have a pretty good show in here.
Yeah, they really do. So, and again, if James Madison and Tulane win, you're going to have a whole nother narrative. Okay. But anyway, so no, I don't. Miami A&M, and that game's being played at 11 in the morning. I mean, shouldn't have, it's kind of like the Major League Baseball World Series. Games should be at night. Don't play at 11 in the morning. Years ago was like, okay, that's bad teams. We'll put them at 11 because a good game's going to be 2:30 or 6:30. So I don't know. It's just, I don't know, something about that 11 o'clock and it's a playoff game. I mean, I'm sure the teams won't care. They want to go play a playoff game, but from a television perspective, that's who controls it.
Yeah, it's kind of disappointing because, as exciting as the game is, college football playoff on your home campus, 11 a.m. Can imagine that'd go over like a fart in church if LSU football had to host an 11 a.m. playoff game in Tiger Stadium. Man, that would be not real good. But for A&M, they've got a lot to prove. This is a program with resources that are almost second to none. With the boosters that are willing to reach into the pocket on the level of a Texas or I've said this for years, Tommy. When they figure it out, when A&M figures it out how to win, but they've got the facilities, they've got the money more than LSU and more than most everybody. They are going to be a dominant force, year in, year out kind of thing. And now you look at what you're seeing here in the playoffs. Oregon with literally an unlimited budget right now. Phil Knight, write the checkbook. Do what you got to do to go win a national championship. I don't care how much. Texas Tech, billionaire behind their athletic program right now. $3.5 million payroll for the softball team at Texas Tech. You see what Texas Tech now all of a sudden football, college football playoffs, Big 12 going down, Texas Tech coming up. So, again, money, Texas, yeah, 3 wins, but they were coming, right? Texas, Arch Manning coming back. UT just hired Will Muschamp as their defensive coordinator. Like UT's going to be right there in the mix. They're going to be one of the teams picked to be in the playoffs next year, no question about it. Texas A&M, more money than anybody. They got the money. There's a theme here, Tommy. There's a theme, and
Well,
those, the haves and the have-nots, and
well, you go back to last year's SEC basketball standings. The 2 teams that spent the least amount of money was South Carolina and LSU. They finished 15th and 16th in the 16-team division. Now we'll see what happens going forward, but and that's what it's going to be: football, the haves and the have-nots. And those teams are going to be around more than not. How about that?
All right, Saints this weekend.
Ooh,
Tyler Shuck. I mean, there's a lot of juice around this game for a game that literally means nothing. The Jets and the Saints. And it's the last home game for the Saints on
right.
Sunday. And there's just a lot of people that are excited to one. It's in the state of Louisiana. It's your last chance to go see, a team you care about, right? Saints, LSU, one of the local colleges. Last time to go see them play in the state of Louisiana. And so for Tyler Shuck, he is, been playing well. The Saints are a 6-point favorite now. I don't think I'd ever say that this year.
Oh, man.
6-point favorite over the Jets. But actually, like, tickets are moving a little bit. Suites are selling a little bit. There's a little juice behind this one.
Well, and here's the odd thing. The line went from 4 to 6, but the over and under didn't move. It's 40.5. Okay. So, yeah, but you're right. I think the key point is the last time you get to see the Saints play in the Dome until next year. So, and there's some juice behind Tyler Shuck. Kellen Moore maybe getting a little more comfortable as head coach. And I'm going to watch the Saints on Sunday, and I hope they beat the Jets. Nothing on the line except you're gonna move your draft pick slot a little bit for the team that wins or for the team that loses. But then the Saints have won 2 in a row. So, hey, maybe they could get a 3-game win streak. That'd be cool.
We'll talk to Joel Davis about it tomorrow morning on Sports Church
Yeah,
Radio from 9 to 11. 9
yeah,
to
let me
11
get that
tomorrow
up on
morning.
the screen. Yeah, here I got the graphic change. 9 o'clock to 11 o'clock tomorrow. We'll move on the clock because they want to air the college football playoff game. So Baton Rouge, Lafayette, Lake Charles, 9 to 11. Hunter McCann, Ronnie Rantz, me, Joel. Hopefully we'll run down Derry Beckwith. So don't forget that tomorrow morning. A little bit of movement on the clock there.
Also, LSU basketball tonight against your Southeastern Lions. 24.5-point favorite is LSU. The men coming off of a big win against SMU a few days ago, last weekend down in New Orleans. So let's see how they can keep the momentum going there and keep improving. The last night, Tommy, I'm for these are for the gambler people that listen to this. I said this to a few friends, and I said it on this show, but I haven't beat the drum enough. Take the under every game for the UL men's basketball team. 106 points was the total last night. They in a loss to Southern Miss. They lost by 8. They now only have 1 win on the season. It's one of the worst basketball teams the Raging Cajuns have ever had, even with a new coach, assistant from the University of Houston, that played in the national championship last year. This is a horrifically bad team. They can't score. They play decent defense. They can't score. So take the under, take the under, take the under, take the under. You're going to hit 70-80% of the time. And we cashed a winning ticket again last night. I ran into talked a little LSU baseball, by the way, just for a quick sec. There's an event coming up. I want to say it's January 17th. January 17th. We'll tell you more about it. January 17th over at Pro Dreams, which is right next to Walk-Ons by LSU's baseball stadium. Pro Dreams, it's a sports memorabilia place. They're going to have Dylan Cruz is going to be there, Trey Morgan, and some others. LSU former and current LSU baseball players are going to be that day, signing autographs and doing pictures and all that kind of stuff. So I'll tell you more about it as we get a little bit closer to that. But I found out about that just yesterday, so I wanted to pass that on. Mark it on your calendar. January 17th,
Is that a
sometime after lunch.
Saturday? Is that a
That's a
Saturday?
Saturday. Yeah, it's a
Yeah, well, of
Saturday.
course, it was a couple of months back. We did a radio show from Pro Dreams shortly after they opened. So
Yeah.
that's going to be a big, if you're an LSU fan, baseball fan, or if you're a sports fan, you got to check out Pro Dreams.
I asked Trey, the owner of Pro Dreams, yesterday. I said, "What's been selling in your shop? Christmas this year." He said, "Anything non-Saints and LSU football," because it's not been a banner year for Saints merchandise and product. A lot of Taylor Swift guitars, different things like that, but not a lot of Saints interest right now. They got to get things turned around, and of course, that disappointing LSU football season has slowed down some sales there. But they're moving everything else, particularly LSU baseball and other sports memorabilia, from Larry Bird shoes to Michael Jordan stuff, you name it. But all right, TK, tell us about Tremonti's.
Well, Tremonti's, they got so much going on here. They got the gift cards, the gift baskets. A big order of gift baskets just went out the door over to a local bank. You can get prime rib, bone in or boneless. Of course, brisket, ham, turkey. They can do it all for you. And then the wine selection has been reloaded. The bourbon, the tequila, the vodka. It's all at Tremonti's Meat and Seafood. Go to tremontis.com or stop by on Jefferson Highway. Check out Facebook and Instagram. Tremonti's Meat and Seafood, rocking and rolling and getting it all going here on Jefferson Highway in Baton Rouge. Now, one more time, we remind you, radio tomorrow, 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Moving on the clock due to the college football playoff. Baton Rouge, Lafayette, Lake Charles, 9 to 11. We'll be on the radio tomorrow morning. Hunter McCann, Ronnie Rantz, myself, Joel Davis, Derry Beckwith. You know the drill. You know the script. You know the lineup. There you go. Sports Shorts Radio tomorrow, 9 to 11. Next episode of Sports Shorts Daily will be on Monday morning over at Court Street Cafe in Port Allen. Go check out Steak Night Saturday night at Court Street Cafe. Their Sunday brunch is through the roof great. Court Street Cafe, Port Allen. You'll be glad you checked it out. On behalf of Mike and everybody here at Tremonti's, I'm Tommy Krysan. Have a great Friday, everyone. We'll talk to you on the radio tomorrow morning.